to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by. On the morning shift.
Anything
could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
All right, good morning. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk. On the morning shift, I'm AJ Walsh. Thanks for being with us this morning. It's been a really interesting morning today as we are trying to get everything rolling on the show. As every day, there's always something new. Just like the intro says, you never know what can happen. Anything can happen. And anything does happen, will happen. It's Murphy's Law. Is that what they call it? But anyways, that's Sudbury News. Each and every morning we come at you live on CKLU 96.7 FM, cklu.ca. You can stream us. You just go to cklu.ca. You click the Radio Player Canada logo, and you can stream us online. And you can download the Radio Player Canada app by clicking on it, downloading it, listen to us anytime, anywhere on your favorite device. Also, all of the other CKLU programming as well when you have that app, or any other radio station that's on that for whatever that's worth. And and so tonight, if you want to and you need to, you can't get out to the game because it won't be in Sudbury for the Sudbury Wolves. You can listen to that right here on CKLU 96.7 FM. So know that you can do that. And all of the Wolves games are broadcast live right here on this station. And that's just something that we do as a community service for Sudbury, and we're grateful to do that and happy to do that. You can also watch us live on Facebook Live, facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News. So also remember to like, share, subscribe, all of that stuff, because it gets the word out there. The more followers we have, we're able to, the algorithms, welcome to the new age, algorithms, AI, says, these guys seem to be getting more followers, and so maybe they're doing something, so they start promoting it more. So anyways, that's the reason why people say, smash that subscribe button or subscribe and all that stuff. So it does sound annoying after a while, but we will reach a point when we have enough subscribers and followers in Sudbury, because Sudbury's only so big, right? And there's only so many people here. It's not like we have an international audience, although many people from Sudbury do travel, and live outside of Sudbury, and they like to stay connected. And we do have people from all over the world watching and listening to CKLU and to this show in particular online and the live streams. So, so there you go. So that's the way you can support the show for now. And thanks for watching, all of you that on a regular basis comment. Feel free to comment today as well as you do each and every day. Continue to do that. You are part of the show. This is your show. It's your community conversation that we're facilitating here. And so we have a special guest in studio. We want to get to him sooner than later. And I'm just, miracles took place this morning in order to get this thing up and running. And just the miracle that Bob was able to find the studio. I'm sure Bob Johnson will be joining us, a mayoral candidate, right after we do a little bit of weather. So I look forward to your comments. I'll try to get to the comments. So maybe if there's too many comments or too many questions and we're not able to get to them, that's the only reason. It's not like I'm doing it on purpose, believe me. I try and go in order to whoever's commenting or questioning. And so hopefully if you have any questions for Bob, he'll be here to answer those questions for you. We want to have a bit of conversation. We want to get you to know him, to get a feel. That's why we've put out the invitation to all of the candidates this go around, so that way you can just get a feel, because sometimes sound bites, news bites, even in a debate, they don't really get the time to really open up and unpack. So this is an opportunity to do that. And so that's we're grateful to have Bob Johnson in the studio. So right after the weather, we'll have more from Bob. And weather today, it's currently 4 degrees in Sudbury. The wind is about coming from the south, 18 kilometers. The humidex is at 90%. So today it'll be periods of drizzle, yay, and high of 12. Probability of precipitation is 40%. The wind will be coming up to 50, gusts of 50 kilometers early this morning. High will be 12. Tonight, partly cloudy. Fog patches developing before morning. The wind will be gusting around 40, becoming light late this evening. Low of 6. And here's your long-term forecast. Saturday, mainly sunny. High of 17. Thank goodness. Sunday sunny and Monday sunny. Oh my goodness, this is the best the weather has looked in a long time. So I'm really grateful for that. Bring on the sun. I can't wait. Forecasting cloudy. No precipitation though in the forecast. I think that's a good sign. And this is what your satellite looks like over northern Ontario. So here's a lot of the cloud cover, and there'll be some clearing coming in the next couple of days. You can see that on the last slide there. But that's your weather, brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca, which is basically a page on Sudbury.news, our website that just recently got up and running and is about 99.9% all set to go. So we're grateful for that as well. We'll be back with Bob Johnston, mayoral candidate, right after this. So as promised, I'm grateful to have Bob Johnston in the studio and get to know him because we've never met before. He came in while he saw me frantically, on what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 devices, getting them all set up after we had an internet outage that I had to fix while he was in the driveway. And it's not easy to find this studio. And so we were kind of frantically just, oh yeah, I did this for a few years. I did that. That's about it. That's as much as we've met each other. So here, you're going to see this in real time, us getting to know each other. So basically it's like being a fly on the wall. So good morning, Bob. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, and thanks for this opportunity. And I just want to say happy Friday to all of you beautiful people out there.
Yes, and a lot of times our listeners, not our listeners, but our viewers, they call me on that too. They're like, happy Friday. And David's saying good morning. David watches the show pretty much on a regular basis. And good morning, David. So, Bob, we're just grateful to have you in the studio. I'm just going to do a side thing here. I'm going to put me on this side, so when I'm looking at you, I'm actually looking at you. I'm just going to test this out. So maybe not. Nope. I'm going to reverse that now. And here we go. This is technology on the fly. There, we just switched. So so that way when I'm doing this, I'm actually looking at you on the screen as well. So here Shane says, Bob, I have your heart and appreciate your passion for helping the homeless. If you don't win, I hope the winner will consult you. Well, that's interesting, eh? So, good morning, Jen. Thanks for being with us today. We're happy to have Bob Johnston, mayoral candidate, here in the studio. So first of all, Bob, give us a background. What is your background? So this is the first time if you're introducing yourself to the city. If they don't know kind of a little bit about yourself, what would you say when you introduce yourself? Let's say you're at a coffee shop, someone says, hey, here's a friend of mine, Bob Johnston. Hey, tell me a bit about yourself.
Well, I'm the bionic man, 41 years of diabetes, 24 operations, a kidney transplant, a double leg amputee. I walk, I drive, and I'm unstoppable. And now
Wow.
I'm ready to work for the people of this great city.
Wow, that's a pretty great introduction. Your background in terms of what you've done, like let's say for work, let's say, and things like that.
I was in business for approximately 8 years. I have a certificate, diploma in law enforcement, mental health and addictions, and mental health and trauma. I have 2 organizations in Sudbury. One's called Tomorrow's Hope, where I deal with the mental health, the addictions, and the homelessness. and the other one is Cruising for Organ Donors, where we try and raise funds for people who are going for transplants.
So you've been busy, not just with one organization or working for not-for-profits and using your background in schooling or whatever. You've been really entrepreneurial with your skill set and your experience. When you say Bionic Man, I almost picture that too. Like, do you get a chance to sleep or what?
Not lately, from burning election signs to 30 of them missing and making sure that the wind don't blow some over. It's a great feeling because you know that you're out there working for the people, and it's heartwarming. When
you talk about burning signs, it's not you out there burning other people's signs. Is that correct? Am I correct on that?
No, for example, I was out of town and I got notice that one of my 4x8 signs was burnt on the old hospital.
Wow, that's not. I didn't think things like that took place here in Sudbury. I thought we were a lot nicer than that.
Well, we don't know. Everybody has a rough day now and then, so I'm not going to take it like personally or seriously. I hope it don't happen again. That's all.
So this isn't your first time running for mayor. How many times have you ran?
This is the first time running for mayor.
Oh.
I also ran in Ward 1 councillor for 2018.
Okay, so first time for mayor. You did run for council before, so that's where I've seen you in the public basically campaigning. So I, for some reason, just thought it might have been for mayor. So why the leap from running for council to running for mayor?
Because I want to treat this whole city as a whole. I want to be able to bond with the team around with councillors around the table. I think every ward is important. Every ward is equal, and we have to have somebody who's got the drive for all wards, who can understand each part of the city. Demographically, we could put another 100,000 people in this city and be able to lower the taxes, property taxes.
So you're saying geographically speaking, like with as much land as we have room for more people?
Correct.
What about infrastructurally?
Well, that's a nightmare on Elm Street.
Literally, Elm Street, downtown Sudbury.
Correct. No, there's lots of work to do. For the roads, I want to, I've been thinking, and how about a report card for roads, where the contractor and the city work together. There's a start date and end date, and also there's a warranty. So like Barry Down Road, we're not sending a crew out there every year for 5 years to fix the roads. You fix the roads once, you sign the contract, and it's guaranteed.
But what if someone says, Bob, I like driving on pothole-filled roads, and I love construction every year.
Well, then I'm going to open up a business with pothole rims, so they're all bent, go either way.
I was listening to CBC one time, and they had an expert on, and the CBC host, it was a local CBC, interviewing someone. I think he was a professor, and he was an expert in not only roads and road building, but northern roads and road building. So the host here was going on about how bad our roads are. He says, oh yeah, because of the cold, because of the heavy traffic from trucks, and because of, the frost and everything, and it gets in, and this, that, and the other. And we have so many roads. Our roads, they last about 3 to 5 years, and then they need to be, worked on. And the guest was like, what are you talking about? That has nothing to do with how long roads last. You could have the heaviest trucks in the world in the coldest weather, and they should still last 30 years. And the host was like silent. And he said, if you build the roads correctly with the right materials, they will last. And the company that does the roads should offer a guarantee. So long, I think he said 15 years. And anything that happens within those 15 years, the company is on the hook for what it costs to fix the roads. Have you heard of that as well?
Not for that long a period of time, due to the frost, even the climate change and everything. All the weather's changing. But, I always look back at Sunnyside Road out in Long Lake. That road has probably been around for 50 years, and it's got like 3 patches in it, and it's in really good shape. And I ask why, or why just on the outskirts where the highways begin, why are those roads always lasting? Mm-hmm. So we got to wonder.
No, you're like me, Bob. You ask the questions, right? So why is this like that? Why is it? And you want to get to the bottom of it. So how has it been for you trying to get some of these answers over the years?
It's been hurdles and stuff. There again, I talk truths and facts, and I got nothing to hide. Our council and mayor in the last 6 years have been all worried about the KAD, and that was it. That was the main focus as our infrastructure fell apart and everything else, and everything got left out.
That's true. It was in the news quite a bit, and I think not only council and the mayor, I think the citizens as well. Because I come from a bit of a sports background, and sports and city municipal economy kind of go hand in hand. Other communities, Sudbury is actually the oldest arena in the OHL, and it's every year it goes by, it just keeps becoming the oldest to the point it's setting records. Other communities are able to either refurbish their existing arena to have it, up to all of the new codes, or build new arenas. Why could Sudbury, even though they were focusing on that, and maybe it's a thing where, why did they just need to focus on that and ignore infrastructure? How come other communities can build an arena and take care of their infrastructure, and we can't?
It's called uneducated. What happens is, even like, for example, all the other cities, if you want to build an arena, you get a couple of businessmen and you build an arena. Why are we nailing the taxpayers so hard to pay for this and pay for that? Especially some of the Fantasy Island projects that are going on in Sudbury. Come on. Sudbury needs a lot of work. The taxpayers deserve to have at least a half a smile on their face in this city. And I definitely want to bring it forward.
For sure. So, again, when you talk about these Fantasy Island, I love that term. I haven't heard that yet, but it kind of encapsulates what a lot of people are saying, these legacy projects, right? These kind of like, I don't know what you call it.
Yeah, it's a legacy project.
Legacy projects where, when we have a lot of, and this is what I've said on the show many times, you probably haven't heard it, a lot of people haven't watched the show or heard it, but you need to take care of the basics first. Are we together on this one?
199%.
Like, legacy projects aren't bad per se, correct?
If the rest is fixed.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You don't move on before this is done. Like if you don't know how to add and subtract, you don't move on to multiplication and division. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. So for example, like, why would we talk about a $300 million project or even the East Junction at $98 million when we have to refurbish our playgrounds, all our outlay and fire halls? And it gets pretty bad when you start closing up helicopter pads such as Vermilion Lake, also the Caperel pad. When you have a train track going through what could last 15 to 20 minutes, and that's somebody's dad or mom or family member on the other side of those tracks. Why? It makes no sense to me whatsoever. How much does it cost a year to update or keep up to date a helicopter pad when life matters?
For sure. So let's just talk about some of your advocacy, and it'll lead to other things. I mean, I've seen you with Michael Vagnini. He got into hot water with you, I think, last year or the year before. I think some things went viral, made mainstream news, local news, where the two of you were sitting down and there was a video made. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. What happened was... that afternoon, I picked up this gentleman. Never met him before. He don't drink. He don't do drugs. But he was freezing, so I brought him to my shelter at Grace Family Church, which is Tomorrow's Hope shelter. And we started talking and stuff, and it was unbelievable. He said, did you hear about the two stabbings at the city's shelter on Larch Street? And I said, yes, I did. I also heard it from volunteers. I also heard it from some staff members. Was I there? No. But it was confirmed by just about everybody else. The two bodies who apparently froze to death, actually, one of the bodies was found by a church group. Okay? And I'm going to stand by my word because I am truth and facts. And Mr. Vagnini and myself were 100% right. We never told this guy any questions or answers. He started speaking on his own, and he spoke what he's seen.
And he just spoke from himself and his own experience, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So why did the media and why did council and everything make such a big deal about it then? What were some of the reasons for that?
Well, let's be honest. We have two councillors, Vagnini and Montpellier, who are always in hot water because they're telling the truth and they're working hard for the people. For example, myself, I put a picture of myself on the van in February, and he's kicked out of the election and this and that, and the media just tore this apart. And well, here I am sitting here running for mayor, and we got 4 days to go because I never broke any rules, but everybody said I did. So,
So you're not allowed to put a picture of yourself on a vehicle? Is that one of the rules? I'm not aware of that. So.
Well, then I also the picture was fine, and then I had a decal on it, and I can't remember what it said. Out of all fairness, but it was everything gets blown out of proportion. So if you do come across the media who don't like you, they're going to eat you. And the ones who know and can understand the truth and so on, which is very hard lately around the city. And I'm not talking about on the streets. I'm talking about upper levels. It's very hard to deal with, and people get scared. Oh my God, like for example, like I'm calling out an audit as part of my platform with a review of 8 to 10 upper management. And I want to see how many lawsuits actually are behind the scenes. How much are we getting sued for? And that all comes down to how much actual debt do we have? For example, when they put in Melee Drive and they took some of Delron's property, there's a little $11 million lawsuit right there. Well, plus, and others. So where do we actually stand? And until we get the audit and the review of the 8 or 10 upper management, which we need, it's finally done. And as mayor, I would like to take all our councillors, build this solid team, and move forward, not dragging the garbage from the past.
I like that. No, don't bring in the baggage and whatever from the past. Just like a relationship. Now, when you say do an audit of upper management, I can picture this audit financially and seeing, where are we spending our money? Why are we making certain decisions? Just like your household, right? Look, we got these credit cards. We got, we're paying for these subscriptions we never use. How about we cancel those? Similar, but you do it on the city level. But how do you do an audit of upper management? Does that mean you kind of deem certain jobs unnecessary and whatever? And you're like, okay, like we don't need this many jobs in the city? Because the report came out the other day that 43% of our budget goes to the people, goes to labor. So is that what you're kind of alluding to?
Well, a little bit of everything. Let's see the facts of where our money actually went. The taxpayers has the right. Mm-hmm. My God, the sunshine list in the city is ridiculous. And what really burns me, as I look forward, that I'm hoping, and I think I will be the next mayor of this great city. How can we pay somebody $250,000 to $500,000 a year and then call in a consultant? Mm-hmm. That's bad money over bad money.
Do you think if you're paying that money, is that what you're saying to somebody? They should have the expertise. They're on the payroll. You shouldn't have to outsource it?
That is correct. And nothing bothers me more than, Windsor's doing this. And even with the homeless, they went into I can't remember, but some city in the States. And I'm just going, how do you compare Sudbury with some city in the States? You can't when it comes to homelessness. It's all different dynamics and so on and so on. And I really think that, it's about time that we build a solid team around that table. I mean, we got to be a baseball team. We all got to catch together. We all got to run together, and we all got to hit together. And when we have that solid team, we will bring the city back.
Paul LaFive says if he's elected, he will not spend money on overpaid consultants and long drawn out processes to do an audit for the city. What do you have to say about that?
Oh, we definitely need an audit. You can only, it's not fair to the taxpayers who are paying through the roof and say, oh, I want more. And if we don't take the 17 million, well, then you're going to be at 9.3% tax and so on and so on. Of course we need an audit. It's like black and white.
Well, then why would he say we don't need an audit? What kind of purpose, in your point of view, would someone like Paul LaFive say we don't need an audit? And I'm hearing most of the candidates saying we do. We've had Miranda Rocca-Tricelli on the show earlier and before, and she said, yeah, audit. And as far as I can see, some of them are a little on the line, but they're not saying no audit. Paul LaFive came right out and said, nope, I will not do an audit of the city. What do you think are some of his reasons, other than the cost?
Well, it could be because of the position he was in before. MPP for the Liberal Party. Other than that, I don't want to get into it too far. I respect Paul. Paul respects me, and I want to keep it that way.
You know what? And I appreciate that. And because that's true. Once it's political, right? Can we say that? Because this is political. This is politics. It's local politics mixing with federal politics. He retired as a federal representative of the city of Sudbury, and now he's running for municipal, to be the mayor. And like you said, if there's an audit, I think a lot of people, does the term transparency, have you heard that a lot from the people you're speaking to? Are they asking for transparency?
Oh, definitely.
And
definitely.
What are some ways we can have transparency when for so long, like you even try and get some of the information about where the city's spending our tax dollars on, and it's like pulling teeth trying to get any of this information. I was saying on the show yesterday, why isn't it just a website where you click on expenditures of the city and everything is like real time? It's almost like at work you have a shared document. Oh, we just spent this on that, and then right away up on the document comes, yeah, 30,000 was just spent for that, and anyone can go on the website and see where all the money's coming and going. Isn't that kind of like the way it should be? It's our money, it's our city. Should it be any way other than that, or what? I don't know. Am I dreaming?
No, you're not dreaming at all, definitely. And I'm going to tell you one thing too, is the people of this great city votes us in to work for them. So we don't work for the management, the upper management of the greater city of Sudbury. We work for the people of Sudbury, okay? And it's not all, let's take it back to management. The councillors, myself as a mayor, has to get out into the wards, into the communities. And we have to find out what the people want, And there again, these Fantasy Island projects where their taxes are going to triple and stuff, of course, they're not going to want those right now because they want to know what kind of shape the city is actually in. And me personally, I think we have a lot of fighting and battles to do, and I'm prepared to do it.
It sounds like it. Now we have someone here wondering about what you might do with the whole Laurentian debacle, and because a lot of the people's lives were affected from that, and a lot of people have seen what I've been hearing, and what my own personal view is. There's not really any accountability for something of that, magnitude. We're the only major university in Canada that's ever gone bankrupt. And the Auditor General of Ontario basically said it was, one of the words that stood out in my mind was incompetence. And so in your view, as mayor, I don't know, is there anything at all that you have to do with that, or looking into things, or I don't know. So that's the question from one of our viewers?
Well, you can just say that, we have nothing to do with it, but I mean, that's the chicken way out, right? So, for example, the swimming pool, why can't we reach out to some outfit like Nike or somebody and see if they want to buy the pool or sponsor the pool or whatever to cut the costs? The track, I'm sure we could sponsor the track or sell the track too to big companies. In 1988, we had the junior games here, and I was one of the supervisors. And we had people here from Australia, all over the world. It was amazing. And it was so busy. It was so packed with all the smiles and so on. What happened at Laurentian University to all our students and stuff is just a nightmare, and the staff and so on. As mayor, we definitely have to work with Laurentian University, okay? How much support we can give them will be limited, but we should be able to stand hand in hand and support them and move them forward and help them. Say, for example, like if Nike wants to buy the swimming pool or so on and so on, we can give them some incentive and some breaks down the road.
Because, like you said, it's arguable to what degree we support Laurentian University, but we are a stakeholder nonetheless. It's in Sudbury. There's Sudburyans working there. There's so many, you know what I mean? So we are a stakeholder in there. So there is some kind of accountability with the city, with Laurentian as well. Like you said, we could do certain things. The juniors, I remember going to see the Beach Boys and Roy Orbison up at Laurentian University. Were they here at that same time, or was that just around the same time?
I believe that was just after.
Okay, because I remember, I was wondering if it was in tandem with the World Juniors or if it was a separate thing altogether. Because the concert was right there at Laurentian University, which I thought was really cool, and I haven't seen a concert there before or since that. And I thought that's a really great kind of a venue for a concert. And I'm sure they would pay you to be there, and it's a moneymaker. It brings in revenue, but that's the only time I've seen anything like that. And the reason why I bring that up too is because I'm going to see the Beach Boys tonight in Rama, and we have backstage passes. So if you need an autograph, maybe I'll see if I can get you one there.
Actually, I'll give you an election sign. You can sign that.
Hey, wouldn't that be good for a last minute, PR? So that's that. Jerome says he believes that, like a lot of people could feel, someone coming from federal politics, Paul LaFive, you said you're friends with him and respectful and all that, but believes he's just kind of an implant for the current federal government to basically do some of their bidding here. And you don't have to comment on that just because, but if you feel you would like to, you can. But I'm just trying to share some of the comments here.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I will say myself, I'm truth and facts. I hide nothing. And I got the determination to lower the property taxes if I can, work for the city people, not management.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that we can have a solid team around that table.
Yeah. And
it's not going to be it's going to be we. And that's the difference between me and a couple of other candidates.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it at that.
Not a problem. And just back to the Laurentian University, our viewer here is basically saying, the kids are the future of Sudbury, and we need that. So as stakeholders, we want to make sure that it's a vibrant school, and it's, people coming out of there, which has a great history too. The SPAD program just celebrating its 50th year along with the Sudbury Wolves. There's a lot to celebrate from that. And I think that's a huge black mark on our city, and it will be for years to come. And, one of the things, and you might agree with me on this, Bob, if that could happen to our university through incompetence, who's to say a city can't go bankrupt as well? Have we seen cities go bankrupt at all in North America over the last few years?
Oh, definitely. Detroit's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And Northern Ontario, some of the cities are in rough shape and so on. And what we got to do is work together. We got to work together with the provincial and federal government too. But we have to be able to know what our vision and what our workload wants to put forward into the city. For example, Elliott Lake has a treatment center for addictions. There's no reason why Sudbury don't, and there's no reason why Sudbury cannot or should become the hub again of the North. For example, use schools. When I become mayor, I'm willing to give $50,000 each year for my first 2 years, which is $100,000 for a used school for the homeless, addictions, and mental health. Those are the three main groups in Sudbury where we're having issues, but all we have to really do is show them the communication, the education, their value, teach them life skills. These are all good people. And that's what I'm saying. We have to get up. We have to open our doors for business. Another thing, if the team would all agree, is I would like to give 50% property tax discount on the first year of all businesses in industrial commercial coming into Sudbury. We have to open our doors. We have to bring in the business, and we have to be able to lower the property taxes for our great people of the city.
For sure. And I know Brian here just mentioned, when I mentioned the Beach Boys, that they were here during the World Juniors, Beach Boys in Roy Orbison. That's what I remember going to too. Now, Ghislain says, I pray that making Sudbury a smart city will be stopped. Do you have any kind of perspective on that whatsoever? Like the idea of this Internet of Things, that everything, cameras everywhere, everything is trackable, and kind of like a smart city. Where do you see that going, and what kind of things would you do as mayor to in that regard?
I think we can reduce all those. What happens is in the last 10 years in this greater city of Sudbury is they always worked on the Band-Aid solutions instead of the actual problem and solution with an answer. For example, how do we go out and hire a security company all year round to patrol? They can't get out of their car. They can't do nothing. They can call the police. Well, why don't we just pay them an extra dollar, train them on Narcan kits, and they can be saving lives? Mm-hmm. Like we have some serious issues. I feel pretty positive that we can clean them up, and so on. Those 246 crosses downtown is not the true amount of crosses. You can multiply that by 2. And I would put my reputation on that it's been ignored. Same with the homelessness and same with the mental health. And the reason why is because of the uneducated people in that department. I'm not putting anybody down, but for example, our police drive with 1 officer per car. So what would be the problem as a 1-year pilot project to put in either an addiction counselor or a mental health worker to team up with the officer? If it's a dangerous situation, the addiction counselor or mental health worker stays in the car. If they need the backup, they need the backup. But right now, I would say that the majority of all the calls are with addictions and mental health.
So my point of view would be, why wouldn't you then just make an initiative to hire police officers or ingrain that into their education in the first place in the school systems? But for now, get people who actually just even have officers go and take an addictions college course. There's a lot of online options. I know I'm looking at master's options right now. Everything's going to be online because I work full time and whatever. Why wouldn't you just have so many on staff so you wouldn't have to have an actual someone else who's, not part of the police department? Just have police officers themselves who are they learn policing and they learn the addiction side of things. And maybe their pay is a little bit more because they do have that extra responsibility. What about something like that? Is that something that could work too?
Well, to be honest with you, our police officers work very hard in the city. Overworked, overstressed, and they need a bit of a break too. So, what are you going to do? Send them to school extra for, and then they're going to want another 20,000 anyways? Good idea. Like, I'm not going to knock it, but let's do a 1-year pilot project and see where we go.
That's true. No, and again, we need to do something. There's no doubt about it. And at the moment, so they have the safe injection site, and I think you're on the same page as us here. We've been talking about this quite a while. That's only one step in the whole thing, right? Like if you're going to put a safe injection site, okay, that solves a problem, I guess. But what about now? Like now what? And is that where you're at too? Like we need to have a more integrated system for bringing people through the rehabilitation, so that way they're not, the end goal should be this person should somehow be taken off the streets and off of what they're addicted to. Are we on the same page on that?
Oh, definitely. So the injection site, there was no thinking. And there again, I'm going to bring up about the uneducated. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yep.
Why would you put it behind the independent grocery store on Lawrence Reed? Why wouldn't it go across from the Samaritan Center where you have all those, the other facilities anyways? But not only that, we have the fire department, the paramedics, the police department right on that corner. But no, let's let them grab their lunch and walk all the way through the city to that safe injection site what's on the other side of town. Makes no sense to me.
Yeah, and again, it could be politics. I would even put it out there that this is an industry now. The whole dealing with mental health, dealing with addictions, it becomes a business. Am I off on that one as well, or is that it's becoming an industry? People are benefiting, and so sometimes that gets into the decision making.
Oh, for sure, but like even, like the northern cities. I mean, I would want to get all the mayors together and tell them about the homeless addictions and the mental health. And we got to go out and reach to Ford and stuff. And the judges, there's got to be a penalty. You don't get a yellow lollipop for killing people, and that's what they are. I mean, the dealers are murderers, and, they got to be paying the price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Our society has really kind of gone in a so odd direction. Let's say, even 20 years ago, if we went into a time machine, Bob, do you think we'd be pretty surprised if we came into now and saw what was going on currently?
Oh, definitely. 20 years ago, we used to bug about the people who were born in the 60s and their marijuana joints and so on and so on. I mean, we're so far past that. I mean, that's like a cotton candy really nowadays compared to what we're facing. Yeah. But not only that, I mean, it's really like fentanyl, it was made for pain patches and so on. But when you got pharmacists in Toronto selling up to the dealers up in Sudbury and so on and moving that stuff, I mean, 13 years, that's all what the jail time is. That should be friggin' life.
Because what would you get for murder, right?
Exactly, because that's what it is.
Yeah. And it basically, you're giving someone a gun and saying, "Here, put it to your head and pull the trigger." Basically, yeah, you're right. And so Pam is saying, this is a bit of a long comment. I don't know if it'll fit on the screen. The amount of people who pass away permanently from overdoses is outrageous. The number of people who die and are revived with the Narcan every day is traumatizing. How many times can one person die and be brought back before it affects their brains? I don't know the science of it. I don't know the medical. I don't know if you know anything about that. And that is one of the solutions they have, I guess, if somebody is overdosed and they're basically, trying to bring them back. They use is Narcan. Did I pronounce that correctly? Yeah,
and it's basically luck of the draw. Okay, I know a guy who overdosed 30 times.
Holy man.
Yeah. And he probably lost about 5% of his
capacity.
Yes, but like I said, that's 30 times, correct? When somebody comes by with Narcan and injects and they save you, count your blessings. I did CPR on one guy one time, and I figured he was gone, and I just did it as hard as I could and basically tried to put him through the pavement. And he did come back. But when he came back, it was really weird because he never said nothing except for, "Where's my phone?" So, like, buddy, you were gone. And no, where's my phone? I was working the streets downtown in 2020 when COVID first started, and I saved 6 lives in a matter of about 2.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's so sad because you lose your fear, but once you do the injection on the Narcan kits and so on, and you do bring them back. I was lucky; I've never lost anybody yet. Mm-hmm. But I could imagine what it would do to somebody, when you do.
But isn't that something most of us now? It's a bit it's a bit comedic in some ways. I know it's a real. He could have died. I mean, that's serious stuff. But when he comes back, "Where's my phone?" Do you almost think that's something most of us would do because we're so addicted to our phones, anyways? It's just like a normal response, like, "Where's my phone?" Like it's almost right up there with death itself, if you lose your phone. I just thought that was a comical thing. But Jerome was saying 20-year methadone treatment that people have been on here in this city, it's just a huge moneymaker kind of thing. So I don't know what you feel about the methadone solution for the opioid addiction and how that could be reformed. But a lot of these city politics can't really... Like these are things that are done on federal and provincial levels, right? How can a municipal, how can we deal with this municipally?
Well, we can get a couple doctors on board. First of all, we can open up a facility with great, strong board of directors. There is a lot of money kicking around in this city, if you know the right people. They got big hearts. They've lost family members. Mm-hmm. And, I'm sure, like, I could probably name 3 doctors right now who jump on board.
Wow.
As board of directors and so on. And there again, like, the methadone is a Band-Aid solution. And that's what I'm saying. Everything's got to be a Band-Aid solution. And it's terrible because it's not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree with that. Now, we're speaking with Bob Johnson. For those that are listening on CKLU who can't see the live stream on Facebook, facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News, running for mayor, longtime homeless advocate, and has a background in social work and mental health and addictions, and spends a lot of his time working with that community. Now, some may say, well, that's all good and great and everything, and you'll be able to bring in some great solutions, and we do need those. But how are you going to deal with all of the other, aspects of running the city? What is going to be your, let's say, a day in the life of Bob Johnston as mayor coming into the office? What would people expect?
They could expect positive change and not just talk about it. They'll see their roads getting fixed. They'll see everything moving forward. Why? Because it's not I, it's we. It's not, I sit in a chair. I have a position. I got to listen to the people and I got to listen to the councillors. And then we present to the management what we figure should be done. I have a solid team behind me right now. And I feel positive that we can all move forward and work together. I would love the opportunity for a 4-year term to prove to the people that I am capable, and we are all capable, and we will do it.
Do you think some of the city management, how would they feel if you were elected mayor?
They'd probably steal my legs so I couldn't chase them. No. No, they're going to feel a little uncomfortable and so on. But I mean, that's their opportunity, right? You can only hide stuff under the carpet for so long before the carpet's got to be thrown out. So a lot of work to be done. Let's get that audit done. Let's do the review of the 8 or 10 upper management. Let's see where we stand. Let's bring forward all the lawsuits out into the open and see exactly how many millions and millions of dollars we owe. And let's refurbish our historic barn, which is beautiful. Another thing, what really got me about the Fantasy Island projects is the Bell Mansion on John Street. We weren't supposed to give that away. We should try and get that back. That'd be great for art. I drove somebody with my old car in a wedding 3 years ago. Beautiful place. Now, another thing is we have Anderson Farm out in Lively. Beautiful, historic property. Everything is just beautiful. Mm-hmm. And the city don't want to fund any money towards that. But they can spend millions and millions and millions of dollars on Fantasy Island projects.
Well, and we just speak of one Fantasy Island project about another. Even that took place with the KED, where it was coming in. It's going to cost more, but even then, right away they switched their kind of focus on the new state-of-the-art Junction East Library, which also doubled, but they didn't blink an eye with that, and they've already gone ahead with doing a lot of the infrastructure work. The shovels are in the ground as we speak, pushing that thing forward. So it wasn't a matter of the money doubled. It's like on one side it mattered for one Fantasy Island, then the other one it didn't matter. So they're using one argument for one, the other one, it doesn't matter that it doubled, and it's going to be more than $100 million by the time it's done. And for heaven's sake, it's a $100 million library, for crying out loud. Like anyone I talk to says, our libraries are fine the way they are. And then once they put a big library downtown, guess what's going to happen to all the other libraries in the outlying communities? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, we'll be closing some, and there again, you're going to pick on Lively, and you're going to pick on Capril, and you're going to take their libraries away.
Yeah, exactly.
We have Regent Street, we have LaSalle, and we have Mackenzie Street.
Yeah.
Right there, plus. But those three libraries are in fantastic shape.
Yeah.
They're in good shape. Not only that, a library is not like a library 10, 15, 20 years ago, okay? Now we have the internet.
Yeah.
And that's where everybody's using it. So
exactly,
bad mistake.
I know. I just shook my head when I was hearing all that stuff. Sure, okay, but what about an arena with a library in it, with everything in one? Now you can see at least the arena makes money. This library, it's just going to be on taxpayers to keep it up and whatever. It's always losing money. So, like you said, I really like what you said at the beginning. Let me know if I'm getting this wrong. Where you take corporate sponsorship to pay for a lot of these things, and then you can move forward. And so what if it needs a little bit of taxpayers' money? I think they'd be fine with that if you just kind of, just to get it done, but not paying the lion's share of the bill. Are we on the same page with that one?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely.
Good. Well, Bob Johnston, it's been my pleasure to have you on the show, and I can see from all the comments, a lot of people appreciated that as well. So thank you so much. And if someone needed to get in touch with you, do you anything on social media whatsoever yet or not? Or because I know you're kind of a traditionalist in that way, and I respect that in a lot of ways. You can go to my Facebook page, Bob Johnston. Okay, that's good. Or Bob Johnston for mayor. Okay. And you can give me a shout, 705-918-9215. I love talking to people. I respect people. And but we're going to do this, people. Okay, there you go. And that's a good tagline, too. Thank you so much, Bob, for being here. I'm glad you found us. and we had the internet working this morning. That's what I'm grateful for, too, as well. So that was Bob Johnston running for mayor here in Greater City of Sudbury. Glad to have him with us today. Thanks, all y'all, for being with us. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. We'll be back with maybe an interview or two from the Beach Boys from the concert tonight on Monday. And Monday's the election day, huge day. So make sure to get out and vote, everyone. It's our democratic right, and we should be using it. So stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. Ciao, everyone.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.